You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Chiro Thin, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Universal Tractioning Systems, Rhino Coaching, Chiropractic Jobs Online, and Chiro Matchmakers. Let's hustle. Hey everybody, Jim Chester here with you guys again. I have a special guest on with me tonight, and this is an evening edition of the Chiro Hustle live stream. I have David Michael Touhill with me tonight, and we're going to be talking about 3 things that you guys have to focus on to win in social media in 2019. And this is our first live stream of 2019, so I just want to say a warm welcome to David, and welcome to the Chiro Hustle live stream, bro.
Yeah, man, it's good to be on here. I'm just dropping getting a couple other folks on the line from some of our other channels, but it's great to be on here with you, brother.
Cool. So I'm just going to say Everest Bootcamp has sponsored us. So that logo floating over my shoulder right there is for Everest Bootcamp, Everest Coaching System. So we're going to close out talking about day 1s and day 2s a little bit, but we're going to dive right into strategy. We were talking off camera about how important it is to have strategy. And I think that so many times people leave money on the table because they can't adhere to a system and a strategy. And I know that's something that you wanted to touch on. And after you shared it in all of your awesome groups for people to participate with us tonight, which I thank you for doing. If you guys are out there watching this, just type in where you guys are watching from. And so we know kind of how large our audience will be tonight and know where you guys are kind of chiming in from. If you guys do watch us on replay, hashtag replay and then hashtag value, because we're going to drop some value to you guys tonight. So David, let's start with value number 1, bro.
Yeah, man. And welcome Dr. Tim and Sandy to the show. So yeah, dude, I just wanted to talk through hey, here's 3 of the top 3 things that we're seeing for social media that we want to be focusing on, especially in the new year. A lot of the things that maybe we heard about or talked about last year, a lot of them don't apply anymore into the new year, or they've evolved into something new. So especially if you're watching and you are a chiropractor, if you have an online, business, these are things you want to look into. So the first one, which you might not expect, is actually repurposing content. So I get so many questions about what content to create and what to put out, and what type of things to create. We're going to talk about this a little bit beforehand, but when you're repurposing content is such an effective way to getting traffic to your page without having to create new content all the time. There's a couple of pages for a couple of clients that I manage, and the content that we repurpose gets about 80 to 90% of the traffic. So repurposing content from another page. So I'll tell you how to do that. Step 1, and I know this is backwards. It's just for me. But step 1 is finding your avatar, right? So who are you looking to talk to? What type of person? Whether it's a chiro office and you're looking to talk to specifically headache patients, or you want to talk to people that have back pain or neck pain, or maybe you have an online business and you want to talk about diet and exercise, right? Finding out your avatar, who are you looking to talk to is number 1. Number 2, create a plan. So creating out a content calendar, this is my easy tip. So everybody that sees me put out content all the time, right? I spend about 6 hours, 1 day a month creating content and post and scheduling all the content. About 80% of it is just repurposed content, whether it's stuff that I'm writing my own words, or it's repurposed content that I'm getting from another site like a drax.com or something. I'm actually scheduling all those posts right there, and it's done. And those posts are scheduled throughout the month, and I spend all the time. I spend all my time just responding to comments. You're not focused on putting out all your posts. It's actually you spend 1 day, maybe 6 hours, scheduling all your content, and the rest of the time you just spend watching the traffic come in, analyzing the traffic, and responding. And the last thing is consistency. So if you're doing posts like this, you need to make sure you're doing it on a consistent basis. So schedule this like it's a business. This is not if this is a hobby for you're on the wrong live. This is for a business. So in your business, would you track finances for 2 weeks and then stop tracking for 2 weeks? No, right? Would you track your conversions for day 1s for 2 weeks and then stop? So just like with that, you would, when you set up your scheduling, say, okay, on this day of the month, maybe I do it on the last Friday of the month, I schedule for the entire next month, and it's a non-negotiable. I say, okay, if I'm committing to social media, if you're not doing it now, you're in trouble, schedule that out. So step 1 is repurposing content.
Yeah, I think there's so much value in that. And before we move on to me communicating to the audience tonight, I just want to drop a little value nugget to you guys and let you guys know that are watching how much control Dave has in the social media market. This guy controls how much ad spend a month?
Between me and the agencies that I work with, we're at about 800,000.
So there you guys have the credibility close right there as to what this guy's doing. And we're going to loop you guys into this social media health summit that he's going to be putting on. But before we jump into there, one of the reasons that Chiro Hustle became such a strong entity within the chiropractic world and in the podcast world, period, is because what we did is we developed a social media strategy and we stuck to it and we stayed consistent as heck with it. And we went running as fast as we could. And we realized we had to make influence on different turf. And we had to find the turf and we had to start winning the turf. It was almost like when you have a politician that makes the red states and the blue states. I started looking at where I had to start owning turf within the repurposing world. And then we developed a strategy and we started owning all of that turf, bro.
I mean, I remember when I first met you, you were standing outside with a wired mic outside of Chiro Fest, just interviewing anybody that would be there, right? And that's the kind of attitude you got to have, especially when you're just getting started on the social side. Sometimes, man, when you're going live for the first time and you're like, and you get one like, that feels like a punch in the face. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's being there, being all places at all times, right? And you guys have done, I mean, Chiro Hustle is the #1 podcast. Let's look at some of the stats. #1 podcast in chiropractic, which is crazy. You guys are getting over 8,000 views per podcast, which is incredible, the amount of people. But again, I could probably bet you that your first podcast that you did was not your best one.
Actually, it's humbling because we all do start somewhere. And, that was like me putting myself on the circuit when you saw me. I'm like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And the most important thing for me was to put my dollars into influence. If you guys keep on putting your dollars into influence, you obviously you have to have charismatic character. You have to have a hero's journey, and you have to have something with skin in the game for you to keep showing up and being consistent. And I really believe so much in the message of what we could do as a team that I just didn't want to stop. And by the way, you said 8K. We're now, since our last conversation, between 10 to 12,000 listens. So
that's awesome.
It just keeps on growing, man. And we've only been tracking stats for the past 10 months. And right now we're about to approach 600,000 total listens on our podcast, on our website. So to me, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's insane what you can do when you focus on that hero's journey and you just continue to put out content, right? So if you're gonna, again, the last part I said was consistency. You're consistent with your podcast. If you're consistent with your social media posting, with your social content, you're gonna see the results over time.
So number two, again, these are some that you probably aren't thinking about right now, but collaborations. So Facebook ads in general, right, and ads in general, and even just the content on social right now is been consistently, it's turning into what we call a billboard, right? A billboard is something you pass in time after time till it gets to the point where when you get on social, you don't even look at that right side, right? Most people, they get on social and they're just going right to swiping, right? But what people do is they subscribe to people, especially on Instagram and Facebook. People actually follow people. And again, if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the following term. But people will follow people, which is essentially saying, I trust you for content. So when you look at someone that's following people, if someone's got 10 million followers, 10 million people trust them for content, right? And so what we want to do is, in step 2, is actually access that, right, and start attracting and bringing on some of these collaborators to actually do content with. It's a lot easier to do with what we're doing right now, where we're bouncing back and forth and we're pumping each other up and giving each other value and building on each other than just going live by yourself. And so my step number 2 is start creating a strategy for collaborations. And what I'm going to do actually, Jim, is I will drop this in the comments because I have an actual script for it. But start creating a strategy for collaborations. And again, I don't think I could drop it in there. So if you guys want that, just shoot me a message. But I created a plan for collaborations where instead of just reaching out to a couple different people and saying, hey, can you go live with me? I actually created a script that I gave to my assistant, and she sends out 30, 40 messages a week
asking people to schedule a live. And essentially you create that script, and it's a numbers game. And over time, just like I'm sure you didn't have a lot of people that wanted to hop on the Chiro Hustle podcast on the first episode, right? Except you asked your close friends, right? Over time, you start to build that momentum. You start to get a lot of people that are going to go live with you. And the cool thing is that these people are actually have trust. The fans that are following them already have trust built, right? So now, for example, if you go live on Instagram and I go live, I have about 15,000 followers, and I go live with someone that's got another 15,000 followers, it actually goes live on their page as well, right? So now we have both of our groups going live in both of our groups, which leads to more traction, more views. And the second thing is, Jim, when you're setting that up, is you want to make sure that you create that avatar like we talked about before. You don't want to just go live with any old person, right? Jim, you go live with people that are either chiropractors or affiliated with chiropractors. There's no sense in you going live with Kim Kardashian, other than you probably get a lot of views, right? So it's important to know who you're talking to. But in 2019, you want to make sure that you have a staff member, just like you would have a staff member set up health talks, right? This is just doing a health talk, but it's online and it's free, and it doesn't require you to leave your house or your office. You just have your staff set up these health talks with collaborations online, just like we're doing here. Do it Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and do it with local people in your community. You can do it with other people online. But just think about the local CrossFit owner in your community, and if you did a live with them, how much more trust that would build for those people if they wanted to come into your practice.
Yeah, and something you said there, I just want to follow up on, is the footprint for what we do. We have created a large brand audience. For the person that's listening to this, you guys are going to create a close niche market audience, which is your local community. So I think when we're talking about this, we're talking about how to get into the marketplace and to create value. But when you guys are doing this, you guys have to look into the macro. Who is around you? Who do you want to build influence with? Who is the avatar business that you want to cross promote with? Who do you guys think is like the ideal, connector for you and your community to not only help them out, but also say, hey, I'm over here checking spines. Who's interested in what I'm doing?
Yeah, and it's important. Now, it's a great point. And it's important to go into the relationships, like all collaborations, as how can I help you first, right? Whenever I love when we jump on the horn, we've done a couple of podcasts together and done a couple of these lives, it's always, hey, Dave, how can I help you? Hey, Dave, it's Jim. I want to help you. Hey, and then it's vice versa. It creates this relationship where you want to help each other. And that creates a different environment. When you're reaching out to someone and they can feel through the message that you're just trying to use them for their fan base or to get patients, it's different than it's, hey, I want to help you educate your CrossFit gym on movement techniques and the importance of the spine holds when it comes to doing a squat, or when doing the hang clean or something like that. So whenever you're approaching these collaborations, you want to make sure that you're giving value first, and then you're going to get value in return.
So maybe I just want to touch on this before you go to the next topic. So think about what we're doing right now with the Facebook Live, a combo interview here. Would you maybe tell somebody to schedule their Instagram Live interview with their guest right after this, and to knock one out and then go to the other audience while you're still hot, and go to the other audience and kind of put yourself a block schedule to say, hey, we're about to do it here, and then we're going to go over there. You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Chiro Thin, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, Everest Coaching Systems, Universal Tractioning Systems, Rhino Coaching, Chiropractic Jobs Online, and Chiro Matchmakers. Let's hustle.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways you can do that, Jim. Number one is, if it's the first time you're doing it with them, I wouldn't do that. I would just, hey, let's do one, and then usually following up with it. Like, I really look at the interview as an opportunity, that whatever, your collaboration is an opportunity to get to know that person, right? And so as you get to know them, they're going to say, hey man, I love that. Let's do another one. Great. Let's schedule another one for another date. If you're trying to knock them out in a row, you could do that. But I think, the best move, I think, is use these collaborations as a way to build relationship. And sometimes they'll be terrible and you won't get one single follower. Sometimes you're going to have the one single follower that has 20,000 followers say, hey, I'd love to have you on my Instagram Live. And it's the thing to do right now, right? People want to go live. If you're watching this, you're probably like, man, I want to go live, but I feel uncomfortable, or I don't know who I would go live with. The truth is, you just got to get started. You just got to do it. And then, down the road, I'm always scheduling. If you look at my calendar right now, I told you I got about 60 lives over the next 45 days, that it's just every 8 p.m. You'll see me on here just cranking them away. And it's just giving value, and starting to build those collaborations. It's so important.
Yeah. So let's pump the volume up for number 3. I know that this is something that you've been doing for a while, and you've been collaborating. Here's your collaboration. I like to tell people, everybody that I've worked with, if they're busy on a Friday and they see my call come through, they'll answer it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Billy, I was actually just on the phone with Billy DeMoss, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll give you." And man, getting a hold of that guy is, it's tough. Guy doesn't have a cell phone. So the number 3 is Facebook ads. So, I kind of beat Facebook ads down a little bit towards the beginning, right? But the truth is Facebook ads are still very, very important. And a quick disclaimer at the beginning is, I don't run Facebook ads for chiropractors. So I run Facebook ads for the health and wellness space, but I know a lot when it comes to hiring a Facebook ads person. I've heard time after time, people saying, I hired this company and it didn't work out. I hired this company, it didn't work out. And I asked them what they asked, what was their interview process? And it was basically, they saw a cool script on Facebook, signed up, right? And then kind of were sold the BS, right? The truth is for these for a lot of Facebook ads companies, I'm just going to break the news right now. If they can get someone on for 2 months, that's why a lot of people do 1, 2, 3 month contracts. Now, I'm not against those contracts, but a lot of people do that, is because if they can get you for 2 or 3 months and you leave, they've still made the money that they're looking to make. So if they're charging you $1,000, $2,000 a month for 3 months, their goal was to make $6,000. So they know if they can sell you into that $6,000 deal on some sort of hope, they can get you in there. But the truth is that, I go to a lot of digital marketing summits and a lot of digital marketing events, and they're actually telling people to target people like chiropractors, because they know chiros are looking for Facebook ads, right? But they know that they're easy to sell, right? So my encouragement, number 1, don't be easy to sell. Number 2, when you're looking to hire a Facebook ads person, I almost always recommend, say for a few instances, find someone else that's having it done well successfully. So if you call an ads agency and they say, we can't show you our results, or we can't give you a referral of someone that could, speak for us, go to the next one. There's a dime a dozen. But I usually recommend finding someone that someone else is already using. So reach out to people, find someone that's having great results with Facebook ads and saying, hey, who do you use? Right? That's some of the best referrals, because there's a lot of people that are going out there that have no positive reviews, but they can say whatever the heck they want in the social media pages, to get people to sign up and give you, hey, we'll get you 17,000 new patients this month, which is just absolutely ludicrous, but for some reason we buy into it. And just so you know, as I speak right now, I am a chiropractor. I ran a practice for 2 years, so I know what it's like. The second thing is, hire-wise, the second thing when it comes to Facebook ads is track. Okay, so asking for them for key metrics, like what your cost per lead is, okay, and then also tracking how many people show from those leads. Now, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1 is you can fix the system out of the office if you're not getting the show rates high, which is a classic case. Fix the system out of the office, texting the person right beforehand, having your staff call them, shooting a text with the office address, or even just a text with the office address and a quick video from the doctor saying, hey, Jim, we're so excited to see you at the practice. This is me outside the office. If you can't, here's the sign. When you pull up, we'll be here, maybe walking inside. Hey, this is Jenny at the front desk. She'll be welcoming in. We're so excited to see you. Boom, drop the address at the bottom, right? Getting people to the office. And then the second thing is, once you have them in the practice, you need to make sure that your day 1s, your day 2s, and your conversions are on point, because if you don't close patients that come from other sources, you're not going to close patients from Facebook. And the truth is that you're closing patients on Facebook is going to be slightly lower than your normal close rate, but you can get great results from them. And maybe you could mention a little bit about what Everest has for closing patients on day 1, day 2.
Yeah. And before I do that, I just want to send a shout out to Tim McFadden. Thank you for being episode number 3 with me, brother. Kat Sarah, thank you for being on with us. Camilla Fox Ferguson's coming in from Ohio. Kat Sarah's coming in from Salt Lake City. And Tim McFadden says Happy New Year. And we have Sandy coming in saying hi. So thank you, everybody that's been on with us today. If you guys are finding value in what Dave and I are talking about, do us the greatest gift that you can do is share this for us while we're still live so people can see what we're talking about. I know that we're giving a lot of tips and strategies to people because that was one of the the framework of what we were discussing tonight. But yeah, the framework of what Everest does is they teach people how to close people, and that's kind of like an iffy word in the sales world. But they teach people the method to do day ones and day twos and can convert people to care. So if you guys want to find a reputable resource in the chiropractic space that is teaching chiropractors the benefits of how to do a proper day one and day two, go to everestcoachingsystems.com and you guys will have access to Dan Klein and his team, and they're going to be able to drop you their gold on how to scale your business by keeping people in your doors that come in from Facebook ads and that come in from whatever marketing strategies that you do. If you're making collaborations with the community, you're going to be able to get those leads that come from those as the referrals build. And then you guys are going to have a higher level of strategy for how you guys can convert people to care plans. And that's the golden thing in chiropractic is we want people to commit to chiropractic, just like we want people that are quality individual chiropractors. We want them to commit to a social media strategy, right?
Yeah, it's super important. And that, while you're on that point, when it comes to social media strategy, there's really two sides, right? So if you're mapping this out in your org chart or on your plan for the year, there's two sides. You have the paid social and organic social, right? Organic is you're posting, you're repurposing like we talked about. It's going live, it's putting out content, it's giving value, right? The paid side is the paid ads, paid Facebook ads, doing Google SEO, things like that. And the truth is you have to be able to do both. You got to master both. You can run paid ads for a while, but over time they'll exhaust, especially if you don't have a organic posting strategy. So it's really having the balance of both. And that's why I want to just invite you guys. We're doing the Social Health Experts Summit January the 19th. And if you're still listening, it's 100% free. I'm hosting it with my good friend Caleb Hodges, who is a Facebook ads expert, Dr. Josh Axe, and many others. And we're going to be showing you how to do organic and paid social the right way. Josh is going to be starting it with the State of the Union for 2019. So they have all their metrics and the things that they've been looking at with their company. And he's going to be sharing some of the key things to look at, the key trends to look at in 2019. And then we're going to talk about creating your content calendar. We're going to walk you through how to create content calendars, finding that avatar that you're looking for, how to sell, how to create blogs and sell supplements on your blogs, how to drive traffic to live events. I'm going to be doing a little bit more talking about collaborations. And then a really important segment that I'm really pumped about is I'm going to spend about an hour talking about how to hire the right agency. So I know I touched on it just a little bit, but I'm going to be giving you a checklist. We're going to be going through the hiring process, all the questions you need to ask. What are the KPIs you want to track? What are the things that you're looking for when it comes to Facebook ads? What do you need to know as a doctor, right? Like, it's so funny, dude. It's like there's so many words that try to get tossed over my head as a chiropractor and digital marketer when people don't know that I'm a digital marketer, and they just try to throw all these words and these numbers. Oh, the click rate looks good, blah, blah. And it's like, we're sitting over here shelling you $2,000 and we're not seeing a dime. And so really the hiring process around hiring a Facebook ads person, we're going to have that all set up, and it'll be some unbiased advice from someone that runs Facebook ads, but not from chiropractors. So that'll be super, super exciting.
Well, I know the know, like, and trust factor is huge, and we have some things brewing up over here at the Chiro Hustle team as well. So I can't wait to unleash all the cool things that we're doing over here at the Chiro Hustle podcast. Dave, you were episode 75, bro. His link is up in the comments and the post there. So if you guys want to listen to his full episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast, go over to the link just posted, by the way, socialhealthexperts.com/start for David's link. But yeah, your episode is number 75. You're just delivering value after value after value. And our slogan is, keep hustling. And I think that's what you've been doing. So congrats, man, on the momentum that you've created with this launch. of this summit. Congrats on developing a strategy to help more people. And I think that most of the people would make better decisions if people would just share good advice with them. So thank you for stepping up and sharing with people the ideas behind the movement. And I think so many times people would take better action if they just had the secret. And I think that that's something you guys are all going to be revealing to them. So I think that any of you guys that want to come on and check out the Social Health Expert Summit, it's January 19th. And what time does that start and how do people join?
Yeah, so I dropped the link in the comments below. It's socialhealthexperts.com. It's 100% free to join. We're charging you $1 for the recordings if you want that, but that's optional. Any of your staff, anybody that you want to join can join it. We're starting at 10 o'clock. We'll go till about 2:30. And then we'll be doing an after party with Dr. Axe and a number of others, Naomi Whittle and other health experts. And we'll just doing a wide open after party. You can put on your PJs or grab your favorite bottle of rosé, and we'll be having an after party in the Facebook group after the event. But again, guys, the purpose of the event, there's no sale. It's the purpose of the event from 10 to 2:30 is we're going to be focusing on giving you value. I know there's a lot of events that charge $2,000, $3,000, and I just think a lot of it's hogwash. I think that there's a lot of people teaching us doctors things that we don't really need to know. I mean, the truth is you don't need to know how to run Facebook ads. You need to know what a good Facebook ad looks like, what a bad one looks like, how much you should invest into it. You don't need to know how to run an ultra crazy Facebook or social media campaign. You need to know how to be consistent and drive value, because at the end of the day, there's two things that matter: saving lives and generating revenue, right? And sometimes those switch for some people. But if it's not driving new patients and generating revenue, then why would you do it? And that's why I think a lot of people look at social media as kind of an optional thing. But like, as you said, even with the Chiro Hustle podcast, you guys have done such a good job of kind of being at all places at all times that no matter what you do, it's going to create a movement. You put that energy out there, it creates a movement, and you have a movement in your town so that when the 15 other people start to do social media over the next year, people are already like, no, this is who I go to for chiropractic. This is who I'm looking for as my chiropractor. And it's not this kind of just do it for the sake of doing it.
And I tell people this, and it's not to scare them, but I tell people this as a for sure cautionary movement going forward. If you don't do what we're going to be teaching you at that summit, then somebody else is going to come out of school tomorrow, and they're going to come out and they're going to implement those same strategies, and they're going to come into your market and they're going to start hustling harder than you, and then they're going to grow the practice of their dreams, and you're going to think to yourself, where was I when I had the opportunity? Plus, one of the things that most people don't understand is that paid Facebook ads right now, the space is so incredibly cheap, and eventually that will go away. Eventually the heavy hitters, the big businesses, are going to get into the Facebook ad space, and it's going to change the whole algorithm for everybody else that was the laggards and didn't get into the game and start playing now. And I think that that's my caution to people, is get into the game and start playing now. Otherwise, you will miss your window of opportunity to find ad spend at such a low cost to get you your new patient acquisition. I think that people just don't realize that how gold of an opportunity we have right now.
Yeah, man, it's great. I think you and I could probably talk we could probably do the first 24-hour Facebook Live, because we just keep dropping dimes. And you're always a great person to talk to. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions throughout if you're listening to this after the fact, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below or shoot me a DM. Happy to answer any questions whatsoever. We're here for you, and this is just love being live with you, brother.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it too. It's the first one of the year. This is a Chiro Hustle evening edition with David Michael Touhill. He is actually coming in from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'll close out by saying thank you to the team over there at Everest Coaching System. I'll go ahead and flash their website up one more time for you guys to get the goods from those fine people over there, Everest Coaching Systems. But yeah, I am going to close out from Grand Junction, which is in the Grand Valley, and I moved here from Denver to the Western Slope, so I could hear the birds chirp, man. And I'm so blessed to be out here in nature. I'm so blessed to be able to bring in the new year with you, Dave. And if you guys want to get more information from Dave, I'm going to flash up his website again for you to come on and learn all of the strategy behind your marketing for 2019. So Dave, I just want to say one more time, thank you for being my guest tonight, and look forward to catching up with you on the next one.
Awesome, brother. See you soon.
All right. See you, man. Thanks, everybody. Keep hustling. Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.